She chose silence until silence became power. What happens when the quiet one, the woman no one fears, becomes the one who changes everything? This is the story of Naomi Blake, a woman who walked into prison carrying nothing but silence, and walked out with every soul inside those walls forever changed. Because sometimes the loudest voice is the one that refuses to speak. She chose silence until silence became power. Blackridge Women's Correctional Facility wasn't a place people talked about. It was a place people survived. A gray fortress in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by barbed wire and broken promises. The kind of place where the sky always looked tired. And that's where Naomi arrived. 29 years old. Convicted of aggravated assault, a fight she didn't start, but one that changed her life forever. Her record said nonviolent background, no prior offenses. But her eyes told another story, the story of someone who had already seen too much. From the moment she stepped off the bus, the guards barely noticed her. Another quiet girl. Another name on the clipboard. They didn't know that Naomi had spent 10 years training in discipline and control. Not for war, but for peace. Her mother had taught her martial arts the old way, not to fight, but to endure. Silence, her mother once said, isn't surrender, it's precision. That silence would soon be tested in ways she never imagined. Inside Blackridge, one woman ruled it all, Tamara Holt, known to everyone as Taz. 6 feet of intimidation and scars, the kind of inmate who made guards look the other way. She controlled the yard, the cells, even the kitchen line. And she loved breaking new arrivals, especially the quiet ones. When Naomi sat alone that first day, eating in silence, Taz noticed. She always noticed. "You deaf girl," she taunted, slamming her tray next to Naomi's. "Or you just too good to talk to the rest of us?" Naomi didn't look up, didn't flinch, didn't answer. That silence was her first mistake, at least in Taz's world. Over the next week, the torment grew. Water on her bed, her shoes missing, food knocked to the floor, a whisper of laughter every time she tried to clean up. But Naomi said nothing. She just endured. To some, that looked like weakness. To others, it was strange. Because no matter what happened, Naomi never looked afraid. There was something in her stillness, like a flame that refused to go out. By the 3rd week, Naomi had a nickname, Silent Girl. It started as a joke, but like all names in prison, it stuck. Some of the older inmates pitied her. Others stayed away. But one, a small, nervous woman named Jessie watched carefully. "You don't scare easy, do you?" Jessie whispered one night in the dorm. Naomi just smiled faintly. "Fear wastes energy," she said softly. It was the first time Jessie had ever heard her voice. But silence, even when powerful, has its limits. And one afternoon, in the laundry room where the cameras never worked, Taz decided to end the joke once and for all. She cornered Naomi against the wall. 3 of her girls blocked the exits. Steam filled the air. "You think you're better than me, Mouse," Taz growled. Naomi shook her head. "Then say something." Naomi's voice was calm. "Don't do this." "Oh, she does talk," Taz laughed. "Let's hear her scream." The first punch came fast. But what happened next, no one could explain. A blur, a shift, a sound, a thud. In seconds, Taz was on the floor, arm twisted, eyes wide with disbelief. Naomi stood over her, calm, breathing steady. "I asked you not to," she said. And then she walked away. By morning, the story had spread across the prison like fire in dry grass. The silent girl had taken down the queen and barely moved doing it. Taz refused to show her face for 3 days. When she finally did, The bruises were hidden under makeup and pride. But the fear that stayed. Naomi didn't speak about it. She didn't brag, didn't threaten, didn't take power. She went back to folding sheets. And that's what scared them most. Because in a world where everyone screamed to survive, Naomi survived by asterisk listening. The guards started to notice her calm. Other inmates began asking her for advice, how to breathe through panic attacks, how to stay centered during lockdowns. And slowly, the violence began to fade. Taz stopped picking on the weak. Arguments died quicker. The prison grew quieter, like her silence had infected the air itself. Weeks later, Naomi was called to the warden's office. The guards had noticed something. The fights were down, the reports fewer. They wanted to know what she was doing. Naomi shrugged. "Nothing," she said softly. "I just stopped reacting." But what she didn't say was this. Her silence wasn't submission. It was strategy. A way to teach a world obsessed with noise that power doesn't have to shout. That night, Jesse sat across from her in the library. "You really scared her, you know," Jesse said. "Taz won't even look your way now." Naomi smiled faintly. "Fear isn't the goal," she said. "Understanding is." Jesse frowned. "So why'd you take it for so long before fighting back?" Naomi closed her book. "Because the right moment," she said softly, "is worth waiting for." Months passed. When Naomi's sentence ended, she walked out of Blackridge without a goodbye. She didn't need one. Behind her, the prison had changed. Fewer fights, fewer screams, more calm. Even Taz, once the queen, had found something new in herself: respect. Years later, when people spoke about Blackridge, they didn't remember Naomi as the quiet girl. They remembered her as the one who showed them that silence can move mountains. She chose silence. But in the end, that silence spoke louder than any scream ever could. Strength isn't how loud you fight. It's how long you can stand still and still win. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more historical true crime documentary.